Hello and welcome to Points of Interest, Inverted Reality's gaming news podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake, along with my co-host, James, over here.
Hey, guys.
If you're new to the show, each week we collect video game news and stories from around the internet, bring them all in one place for you to watch and listen to. Every Thursday, you can get the show on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, basically any podcast service of your choice for the audio versions. And on Google Play, on YouTube, VidMe, and Facebook for the video versions. You can follow us on Twitter at IR Games. Stay up to date with what we're doing. We'll tweet out links and ask questions and tweet out news we see in the middle of the week that we didn't get a chance to in the show.
Yep,
and random jokes about toenails.
I forgot my toenail joke today. I'm sorry. I do have one. All right, I got a joke. You ready for this?
I'm scared for this.
So what kind? No, it's PG. It's PG.
No, I'm sure it is.
So what is a ghost's favorite kind of wood?
Oh man,
bamboo.
It's important to point out that James has a 2-year-old, fresh 2-year-old. He's 2 as of
I was on a call with a client at like
this.
4:50, and he told me that one.
Man.
So it was great. He's a lawyer.
Happy Halloween, everybody. We are recording this on Halloween night, so I know it's not Halloween when you're watching this and to date the episode. So spooky podcast. Can't you tell by all the nets and spiders we have in this place? Not have anything to do with the set dressing. Just kidding. This is not that dirty. But moving on. What have you been playing lately, James?
I have been playing the wonderful, the great, the awesome.
How's PowerPoint going?
I was apparently clicked on to something else. Super Mario Odyssey.
Yes.
It's what everyone
finally
should
out.
be
It's
playing.
amazing.
If you're not playing it, I don't know why. Even if you don't have a Switch, you should still find a way to play it. I only got to play. I was out of town this weekend. My in-laws. I feel like that's every other week on this podcast. I'm out of town.
I know.
But so I got to play a little bit of it before I left. I picked it up on Thursday night. I went to Gamestop like opening for it, like at 11 o'clock, and got it picked up. Got a cool poster for it. All the employees were wearing like the little cappies.
No, I'm sure that wasn't great for them.
I mean, they were pretty excited about it, but some of the people, I guess, were there for Assassin's Creed Origins, whatever that game is. I don't know.
They were there for one of the 800 games that came out on Tuesday.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy because they
freaking Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, because you had that one, you had
Wolfenstein 2,
Origins, and then Wolfenstein 2. Those were the three like big names dropping at the end of October. They just want to get out of that November time slot because of what's coming this next week.
3rd.
So, I love it. I didn't play any of the Super Mario games before. Like I knew of them. Like I knew a lot about them. I just never.
I
never owned
we played World together.
I think maybe
we played Super Mario 3 for sure.
Yeah, we played Super Mario 3. Those are the ones I've played, like that style, like the side
3D.
Yeah, I haven't played a 3D one. I've watched it a ton, obviously.
I have too.
So, but it was amazing. So I'm in like the I'm in the sand world right now, kind of trudging through it. So I love it. I love the Cappy. I thought was gonna feel like a cheap gimmick, and it doesn't.
Man, he's just like so much fun to use.
So integral. I just love how seamless it is. Yep. So what have you been playing?
I have also been playing Super Mario Odyssey.
What?
Surprise, surprise.
That's crazy.
I know you all weren't waiting for it. I just got through. I went through New Donk City. I'm in Ice World.
Nice.
I believe is where I'm at. There are like forks in the road where you pick a path.
Okay.
But if you pick to go to the top one, the next one you go to is the bottom one. So you don't have to like go back and then go back to the world. Like you're gonna hit them all no matter what you do.
Right.
You just decide which one you want to go to first.
Okay.
So I also have never owned a 3D Mario game.
Yep.
I played 64 a little bit when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played any of the other Marios. I have watched Game Grumps play through like all the Marios. The one that I wanted to play the most is probably Sunshine.
Yeah.
And this is just such like the perfect blend of 64 and Sunshine and Galaxy. It's just like all the good parts from these games. Like, hey, let's bring this and bring this and bring this.
It's
and
pretty great.
like, here it is, all for you in this nice, like, wonderful, just fun package. Because all it is just like, it's like a collectathon, really.
Yeah,
but
it is.
Which is something like the N64 was plagued with.
Oh yeah,
was collectathons. But this is fun. Like
style.
all the challenges are
anymore.
different.
Yeah,
and I really like. In part of my brain is like, it's just a collectathon. This shouldn't be fun. These games aren't fun.
Yeah,
games just about collecting are not fun. And the other part of me is like, I'm having so much fun doing this. I want to keep going. I want to get all of the power moons. I want to get all of the currency for each world. I want to do all that because I'm just enjoying myself.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited to continue to play more. I just been obsessed with. I didn't grab a shot for it because I forgot. But Stranger Things season 2 also dropped on Friday. It's really good. It's 9 episodes. First season was 8.
Yeah.
Half the episodes are an hour long. It's important to know. It's like, oh, I got an hour for lunch. This episode's an hour and 2 minutes long. Thanks, Netflix. Jerk. Guess I'll get my lunch ready in -2 minutes. Thanks.
That's why you have it ready when you start the day, James.
I don't
It's
leave
like
my house, so there's really no reason to do
Warming in a
that.
crock pot. So you can like run down, grab it, and Stranger Things is on pause right here. You've already like watched 2 minutes into the episode.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So if you like the first Stranger Things or you like TV,
Yeah.
Stranger Things is going to be
If you
a
have
good
not
one
seen
for you.
Stranger Things, I highly
It's
encourage
good.
it.
It's interesting because they deviate from the formula a little bit, but
You kind of have to.
the big problem was not a problem, but in Stranger Things, the whole part of the show was it's unknown. You don't know anything, right?
Yep.
So as you reveal more to it, if you go back and watch it, it just doesn't have that same feel to it. It's not one of those like, oh, I'm gonna go rewatch that show every couple months. Like it's much more of a like based on your first reveal kind of thing. So they've showed you a whole different world now. So how do you come back with that and still have that unknown? So it comes at it differently, but not in a bad way. It's very good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I loved it. I finished it today officially. So
Yeah, I don't know. Miranda watched Stranger Things 1 and she liked it a lot. And so
Yeah.
she wants to watch Stranger Things 2.
yeah.
So I watched Stranger Things season 1 at work.
Right.
Like just kind of on lunch breaks and whatnot, and like in downtime, so I could watch it at my own pace by myself. Now it's like I gotta come home and like find time when I'm actually at home to watch Stranger Things
Yeah.
with my wife. So I'm sure we could probably work out a schedule where we just watch it.
Yep.
At whatever time.
Yeah, that's the
But
tough part. So
Welcome
my
to
wife's-
being married, guys.
my wife's going to start watching it. She downloaded some episodes while she's out of town. I don't think she's been able to watch any yet. So she
Yeah.
tried to watch it on one of her airplane rides, and it was like she was in like a 12-passenger plane. She felt like for like 3 hours, so it was like insanely loud. And then the second plane, she was in a middle seat, so she was just
Oh my
miserable the whole
goodness.
time.
I didn't get to tell you this. So this last week I went to Chicago. For a couple days. So on the way out there, I flew from Omaha to Detroit, and then from Detroit to Chicago.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean it's how it goes. It's the same way. Like I think it's just one of those flights that always happens. So like I've flown the
Yeah.
same flight your wife took from Kansas City to Charlotte to Nashville.
Yeah.
Even though you fly over Nashville to get to Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
then fly back from Charlotte to get to Nashville. Stupidest thing ever.
It's
I
ridiculous.
never understood it. But the flight from Detroit to Chicago is like a 45-minute flight.
Yeah.
And I was on one of those planes where the engines are mounted up like by the cabin. And I was right. I have a video of this, and I got to edit it all together, and we'll put it out on the channel. But like right by the engine,
Yeah.
and it's like there was some kind of like noise gate on the cabin. So it'd be like, and hit a certain frequency, go. Like, what happens here?
That's
And at
funny.
first I was like, okay, it's not so bad. It's not that loud once we get
Yeah.
going. But then this constant like for the whole flight. I was like, all right, now I'd forgotten my headphones.
oh
like,
no.
When we left the apartment, I realized when we were halfway to the airport, I was like, crap, I forgot my wired headphones. I only have my Bluetooth ones. They're probably going to die because I forgot to charge them last night. Well, crap. Then I get to the airport and realize, doesn't matter. Forgot my Bluetooth ones. So I guess I will just deal with the sound of the airplane. But I got some
Just
headphones in
thinking about
Chicago,
that
so
one.
I was going on my way back.
Oh, that's true. That's where you got those.
Yeah.
That's right.
All
That's right.
But jumping in to gaming news, if you didn't know, this week was Paris Games Week.
That's right.
So Monday was the PlayStation Media Showcase.
Yes.
So we watched the pre-show and the actual showcase itself.
We learned our mistakes after E3 not watching the pre-show.
Yeah.
PlayStation kind of built this up quite a bit in the lead up to it, which they don't normally do. They don't
Yeah.
like to hype stuff unless there's a good reason. They're pretty consistent. I mean, lots of journalists will hype it up just because they're idiots. But when PlayStation actually like puts effort into it, you should probably at least pay
Pay
attention.
attention to it.
They build it as the second half of E3.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which
so
may have been a little bit of overhyped.
I mean, maybe a little bit,
Just a touch.
but
As a side note, it's not one of those things I've ever committed to, and I may not ever do it, but if I ever got like finger tattoos,
yeah.
I want to get like the PlayStation sacred symbols. Like on the first thing on my finger, I think that'd be awesome.
I mean, it's something.
Now, I mean, the circumstances in our
Gosh.
lives have got to change before I can really probably put
Gosh,
tattoos on the top
man,
of my
I'd have
fingers.
to get to a pretty new low for me. I'll be completely
What,
honest.
getting tattoos on your hands?
Yeah, that's a lower tier for me.
Why?
I just never been a fan of them. I've never seen them done in a way that doesn't look extremely trashy. So,
That's fair.
that's me. It's not that I would like poo-poo anyone else doing it.
Yeah.
I just would not want it for me because I mean maybe it's like my background of working in like corporate IT right now.
you
Shake a
yeah.
hand and be like,
See the tattoos on the hands.
I like video games.
Yeah, in the jobs we have now, it would not
Right.
work. But if we can do this full time, it would totally work.
You never know. Yeah.
But in the pre-show, so we'll have the two sections of talking about the pre-show stuff and the media showcase stuff. We saw a few things. I had to step out to do some stuff because it was in the middle of the workday for us watching.
How inconvenient, Paris.
Jeez. They kept talking about, we'll see some things this evening. I'm like, what are you talking about evening? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It is 4 o'clock where you're at. All right, never mind.
Exactly.
But the first thing out of the gate, we saw Guacamelee 2.
Yeah, it was
Coming soon-ish was literally the terminology they used.
Came up with coming soon-ish.
Ish.
It's if you play Guacamelee, you know what this is like. They had dimensional waves. So in the first game, you would go through like little portals and flip the dimensions, but this one was showing like waves going by that you would go in and out. So
I'm sure it's just like a level mechanic or several levels of mechanic. So as the waves going by, you can run into like some platforms are only in certain dimensions and some enemies are only in certain dimensions.
Yeah.
So you can avoid and or beat them.
It was super.
And you have to use the dimensions to jump on the platforms.
It was super interesting. 4-player co-op is big one. So that's pretty cool. I know they had 2-player co-op in the first game.
Had a chicken.
Like playable chicken.
I cannot remember if like there were chickens in the first game.
I think you
could play the chicken. I remember getting there. You could play the chicken, but it was not like a combative chicken.
Like this was all the same stuff as he had different moveset, but all the same stuff as your luchador. But you were a chicken, and they showed like special abilities of the chicken. I was like,
you like turn into a dart basically.
Yeah,
just doosh.
Yeah, it looked awesome. So we have no idea when it's coming. Soonish. From a I want to say AAA developer. So
Drinkbox.
Drinkbox. So maybe 2019 is interesting.
Maybe.
You would think if it was 2018, they'd at least
like,
put a year on it.
I mean, you'd think that, but I feel like if you're gonna put soonish, you'd probably mid or late 2018, right?
Yeah, and they just don't want to commit to it in case something happens.
They don't want to put a window in.
But for something like Guacamelee, you wouldn't think you would need like 2 years after your announcement to release a game like that.
Yeah,
since it's the same art, like everything looked the same. Did not look like a huge improvement in graphics or anything like that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I'm not.
I know it's hard to believe because it rarely ever happens, but we might be wrong. Next, we saw the Hong Kong Massacre coming out in 2018.
So it's weird.
Top-down twin stick shooter. Looks very like Hotline Miami.
Yeah, but
a lot of vibes from that
with realistic graphics.
Yeah, it was very cartoony.
Weird. Like the trailer for
the trailer was odd.
One of the pre-show guys was like super jazzed about it. I'm like, are you jazzed because it's your job to be jazzed?
I mean, you got to think that at some point they have to be.
Man, you saw like maybe 5 seconds of gameplay in that 2-minute like.
They kind of like
trailer.
showed like cutscenes and whatnot, and it looked like it was going to be some really dramatic shooter.
Yeah,
and then they'd cut to gameplay, and you could like see the cursor moving around the screen. Yeah, and if you've been playing games for a little bit of time, you know what a twin stick shooter looks like,
right? And
it was kind of cool, like showing him like he's got enemies over here, and so he's like splitting his guns and shooting in both directions. Yeah. So it was kind of cool seeing that, but at the end of the day, it's like it's a twin stick shooter.
I'm just never big. I'm never big on like top down like twin stick stuff like that. The realistic graphics was interesting.
Yeah.
Normally with that stuff you see very cartoon style. I mean, Hotline Miami, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see where that one drops down. Next one they had a lot of like big. Not necessarily big reveals, but they had a lot of reveals in this first section. They were talking about 21 game updates, 11 of those PlayStation VR, 7 brand new game announcements.
Yeah.
And they held true to it. There was a bunch of new stuff we hadn't heard before. Gardens Between, it was poised for late 2018. As an adventure game, you control the flow of time. You solve puzzles with this time control power. It seemed really, really basic.
Neat.
In terms of like there was just like one button, single player kind of thing. It didn't really appeal to me.
There's no text or dialogue. It's telling the story all through just like the different scenes and whatnot.
Yeah, it sounds similar to like a Journey kind of thing.
Yeah, similar to that. It does look kind of cool, but yeah, probably not one of those things that we'll get. We'll just see, but it's coming late 2018. I don't know if you mentioned that. I was looking for
PlayStation Plus 2019 game probably.
Exactly. They announced that Loco Roco Remastered is out and available now as of 3 days ago when you're hearing this.
It is. Yeah, I saw it on the store yesterday. I checked.
So we have not played Loco Roco.
Never even heard of it before this.
I heard of it listening to other gaming podcasts. They're like, oh, Loco Roco, and usually led to like, oh, when are we going to get a Patapon remake? And I'm like, whatever. That might just be Greg Miller. That might just be his thing. But I've heard about it in like other podcasts. When I used to listen to more IGN stuff, they talk about Loco Roco and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And they announced that Loco Roco 2 is coming December 19th, 2017. Will be in 4K.
Yeah.
If you haven't played Loco Roco, here's the gist of what we got.
Yeah.
You kind of like eat more U's essentially to become bigger, and I'm sure like you solve puzzles based on how big you are. So if you're too big, you can't get through certain holes. If you're not big enough, you probably can't weigh things down. That kind of thing. You run up to certain things, sing to wake up more characters, to eat to become bigger.
Yeah, the singing was it was almost like a rhythm-based thing. Like it brought up notes on a screen, and you had to tap it out like in time. So that's an interesting mechanic. It felt like there was a game, it was PlayStation Plus like last year, where it was just all like side scroller, and you gobbled up a bunch of these little like spiky balls, and then you would like lose them in different places because you get hit. It seemed
you're talking about Badlands.
Yeah, Badlands.
There's Badlands. I was thinking about another game where you'd like, I can't remember the name of it, but you'd pick up notes, and it would kind of like develop the song of the level.
Yeah,
and then as you go, like because the stuff's going across.
Yeah,
as you go, it was kind of neat. Yeah. It wasn't really a rhythm game, but it just like a music-based game.
Yeah, so that is coming December 19th. So that's pretty cool. Sims 4.
Those you Sims fans out there.
We did know that Sims 4 was coming to PlayStation 4. We knew that it was going to have all the DLC and pretty much the exact same thing as the PC version, which was cool.
That was the big thing they were pushing. They were showing, the big thing they showed was vampires, patios, and a couple other things. I wrote down "be rich" because that's basically what the other two looked like. I was like, "Oh yeah, you can be a vampire, you can have a patio, and you can just be really rich inside your house."
But it was everything. So if you've got them on PC,
everything on PC.
Anything that's coming to PC in the future will be coming to PS4 as well. They're trying to unify the platforms. It actually, we knew it was releasing this year. It's like November 14th is the official release date for it. So it comes out pretty quick. My wife always loved doing The Sims, so I'll probably pick that up for her for Christmas.
Yep.
At first I was like, "Oh, James, why'd you tell your wife we were a Christmas present?" Well, spoiler alert, she doesn't sit around for 50 minutes listening to our podcast every week, so I am good. We're good. No. As long as someone else doesn't tell her. You know who you are.
You.
All right, what was next?
Next week. Next, what I got into, it might have been next in the show. I had Tennis World Tour 2018.
Yeah.
So it's a deep, like heavy sim tennis game.
Yeah.
I know on the pre-show, Rob Pearson from PlayStation Access, who we watch his Friday features all the time, was really excited about it. He played the old tennis games on PS3, which now the name has dropped out of my memory.
Hot Shots 4 was
it Hot Shots?
Yeah,
that was golf.
Pretty sure it was Hot Shots. I could be wrong.
Should look that up. Fact check. But yeah, he's excited about it. Didn't really like on one level. I was kind of like, oh, that might be kind of fun to try. And on another level, I was like, deep sim heavy tennis game. Like tennis isn't really my thing. Like I know you played tennis for a while in high school.
Yeah.
But I played tennis, I think, twice in my life.
Yeah, there was Hot Shots.
Hot Shots. It was Hot Shots. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Well, there we go.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I hear you.
There you go. If you've been searching for a deep sim for tennis, good news.
All right.
2018.
So there were a few VR games here. We don't typically go over the VR games. I got another list though because I'm tricky like that.
Tricky.
So we got Megalith, which was you're a Titan. And I don't know if you got to see this one.
I might not have.
But it was a really cool like VR game. Basically, you're a Titan, and you're going to try and battle other Titans to become a god. So it's like a single player game.
Is that the one where he was? No, that was a different one. I'm thinking like the Journey looking one.
No,
this one. Fly to the other Titans.
This one you like fly into like you're in a cave, and you wake up and you've got like these huge hands, and you can do these cool things. Cool. Shooter with destructible environments. 2018 release date. Bow to Blood. Another VR game.
Interesting.
It was airships, space battles. You shoot from a regular gun. You shoot from your ship. Game is procedurally generated, so it'll be different every time. 2018 as well. It looked really interesting. Unique art style. It was vibrant. It was a little bit blocky. Less about like accurate resolution and more.
Yeah.
It's that's how VR is. We're not pressing for that.
It's about not making you sick inside the headset.
Right, exactly. Ultra Wings VR. It's basically like a flight sim.
Okay.
You could like land planes. There's a ton of different challenges. It began life actually as an Android game. but this is new for PSVR and it's coming soon. That's all we know.
Ultra Wings and also Ace Combat 7's coming out, which was in the media showcase.
Yeah.
but a couple different flight
And
games.
then another one is free running platformer Sprint Vector.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks super bonkers, and it was like first person free running. Like it looked awesome. Like the move controllers would be your hands as you're running. So you've got like a course here as you're going straight and kind of turns here and there. And it's just point A to point B kind of thing, like a racetrack.
How many VR units are going to get ripped off of?
It's insane.
Like
it looked ridiculous.
Entertainment centers with a game like that.
Yeah. Release update for Moss. We saw Moss at E3. It was that little mouse looking thing. We're really sure what
Mouse
the VR
puzzler.
looks like. You're using a DualShock and you're controlling him, but you're also controlling like a pointer. So if you remember playing Rayman Legends, where you'd have a different button to move the little fly thing, it's kind of like that, a little more advanced because you're using your right analog stick for it. So that could be cool. We got a release date though, February 2018. It's a third-person dungeon crawler. So weird to have a third-person VR game like that. So it'll be interesting to see what that is. Star Child, which it was basically just a concept art kind of trailer.
Yeah.
Really nothing yet. They had some Resident Evil 7 DLC, new free DLC with Chris Redfield. If you're a Resident Evil fan, you'll know the name. Claire Redfield's brother. Fully playable in VR. They're going for like action-packed Resi 4, 5, 6 style. Less horror, more like first-person punch and shoot and kill zombies and stuff like that. And then they had 2 PSVR games they announced that were coming on Halloween. So 2 days ago for you guys. And one was Dead Hungry, where you're serving zombies from a food cart.
Oh, I've seen that game.
And by serving them food, they turn back into normal people.
Yeah.
So that looked interesting. And then Stifled, which looked absolutely horrendously, awfully terrifying. It's all like wireframe. And the only way
Was it the echolocation one?
Yeah, it's echolocation.
That looked awesome.
No, it did not. It looked terrible.
That seems like such a cool way to traverse a
world.
world.
It is super cool. But so you make noise, and it shows you your environment, and if you make too much noise, then whatever you're trying to get away from or escape or find is...
They come.
Yeah, they come, and it's scary and terrifying.
Yeah, so you can see their noise happening and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that looked super cool.
There's a couple more. See, you missed a bit, and so I
was gone for a
I
bit.
am here to get you. So, not that I'm that excited about. League of War VR Arena, interesting take on real-time strategy. Don't snooze yet. There's a real point on tower defense. So, it's you're overlooking like a war map. Like, in those crappy commercials.
Oh, is that the one I saw, like, the hands, they were, moving
so
stuff around?
you would grab, like, a tank and set it down and grab, like, a unit and put it over here and do this. And it looked interesting.
That sounds like a weird game for VR.
Yeah, and then they showed us some Monster of the Deep stuff. Final Fantasy, which is their standalone VR fishing game. It's fishing. It's the same. They said like it's
like characters you recognize will be Noctis, Ignis, and Cindy.
Yeah, they'll have everyone in there, but your character will be like part of the group. So you'll actually have like your camping scenes, right? Like you had in Final Fantasy 15. You'll be sitting there and you can like try and take food off of Noctis's plate, which was really interesting. And then almost at the end of the pre-show stuff, they showed us Final Fantasy 15 episode Ignis.
Yeah.
So if you know how the DLC works for 15, they've been doing episodes for each of the standalone characters. So it releases December 13th. Footage looked really awesome. It kind of seems spoilerific if you haven't finished 15.
Yeah.
I would probably know if I'd finished it. So
it's one of those things like we talked about a little bit. Every time we see footage for Final Fantasy 15, like we have it, we played it. I probably put like maybe 20 hours into it, which for a Final Fantasy game is basically not even starting.
Right.
And it was fun, and I enjoyed being in the world, and I was kind of grinding, and I was into the city and doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was fun to play, but just stuff came out that I wanted to keep playing.
Yep.
And
just
so
kind of got shoved to the back shelf.
Once you step out of that world for a while, it's hard to jump back
when
in.
we were streaming every week. I played, that was where I played. So I played probably 10 or 15 hours, and I just did it all on stream, so I don't really remember any of it.
It took us 40 hours total those weeks to try and get the stream up and going. It was awful.
And then there was a couple at the end. You've got one here. Is
O-Ray.
O-Ray.
It was already out. Was out Monday. That's the one that I was talking about. It's like a journey vibe.
Yep.
Of a very like cool art style. If you haven't played Journey or Abzu, that kind of art style. It's like low poly almost. But you're like a kid that can turn into a dragon and fly from Titan to Titan, and the Titans are supposed to be doing work for your village or whatever, and they're not doing it. So it's your job to go back up there and convince them to do their work again. So I don't know if it's by defeating certain points on them or solving different puzzles. It looked really kind of cool. Fun little peaceful puzzle solver.
Yeah,
to play around in.
It was interesting. There was a new PSVR rhythm game featuring world famous DJ Avicii.
Yeah.
Called Invector. It was announced years ago at Paris Games Week. But
that actually looked kind of fun.
Yeah, it was now confirmed for PS4. It was another one of those like real like seizure inducing kind of like shots that you get, like these huge, vibrant, bombastic scenes.
Yeah, because like the things coming at you, like it's like you're flying through it, and so you're using the move controller, or not the move controller,
just the dual
shock. And you hit like triangle or directional pad, and you're just like doosh doosh. And it looked really kind of fun.
It did. It was interesting.
Probably for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not gonna be a long one for me.
No.
And then final one in the pregame show. There's a ton of stuff. They did not undersell it.
No, they didn't.
Spelunky 2.
Yeah, I played a little Splunky one.
Yeah, is the
not much, but a little.
Kind of like a. It's like a little bit like a Steam World Dig or whatever that game
Not really.
was. Not really. All
no,
right.
Steam World Dig was like actually mining. Spelunky was like I don't think it was a roguelike. Probably could have done this research before we got here. But no, it's like you just like beat the worlds and kind of move through, so you don't actually do any digging. You just kind of get size like a platformer.
Okay.
More than a
all right.
that mining kind of game.
That makes sense.
Brought to you by Mossmouth and Blitworks. Was the only notes I got down.
Yep, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't get. Let me see if they had a release date. I don't think they did though.
I don't think they did. I didn't write it down.
They didn't have. It was their very last thing. Yeah, they didn't have, like I said, any release date or anything. They're just working on it. Yes, the sequel's been in the works for a couple years, but who knows?
But from there, we moved to the actual media showcase, which was pretty exciting, actually.
It was, yeah. I'm surprised.
I don't know if I'd rank it on the level of E3 Part 2, but it was pretty darn close.
Yeah.
Honestly, out of the gate, we saw Sucker Punch's new game.
Yeah.
Ghosts of Tsushima.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have to wait maybe till PSX to see Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Or at least not to lead off the conference here. I thought maybe they'd end with it. So this one is set in like 1700s feudal Japan as a samurai, open world samurai.
The VO was awesome. He's like, while you were sharpening your sword, I was learning.
Yeah.
I was learning your language. I was learning your rituals. Like, man, I feel awesome already. I can't wait to play this game.
Yeah, it looks really cool. We didn't see hardly any gameplay because it
was cutscenes.
We're super early. We didn't get a release date or anything like that. We're still a couple years away.
Yeah.
But, we finally get to see what Sucker Punch is working on. If you don't know who Sucker Punch is, they did the Infamous series.
Yeah, they did.
So it's nice to see them be able to strike out from that a little bit and kind of do something way different, but still going with that open world feel to it. So
we kind of see
I feel pretty good about it.
A hit breakout like Guerrilla did with Horizon.
Yeah. This is at least like a proven kind of genre that they can do, open world type of thing. So
open world awesomeness.
Yeah.
Next we saw Concrete Genie. This looked kind of cool. I don't know if
way different.
Yeah, really different. So it's by Pixel Opus. It's kind of like this art based. So you're a kid that. You find like a giant paintbrush.
Yeah.
You start like drawing on the wall, and then your paintings come to life. Yeah. So he paints these little monsters and scenes, and it's all kind of cool. And there's these bullies that are trying to like knock out his art. And so it starts like picking him up and getting him going again. And he keeps drawing. So it looks kind of like a fun little adventure graffiti world.
It was because it was like customized. You could customize the paint. They were showing the gameplay footage. And like he drew this monster, but you could like draw different horns, and you could make his mouth different. You could make his shape different. You could put his legs and his arms over here, and you could make him a snake. And it's just like that's really interesting. So I'm curious, like how much there is to it, or if you're just locked into like one of 4 templates. Like what's the point behind it? But it's definitely looked gorgeous and very exciting stuff.
Unlock more templates as you go. I would assume
we'll see what that
anyways.
looks like. 2018 for that one, by the way.
Next we saw Erica, which is a Playling game.
Yep.
So it's like a real footage mixed with some CGI that you interact with.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's interesting. I don't know if it sold me or not on it after watching
it. Because it looks like real movie. Like, I think the CGI was just like the overlay of your decisions.
Yeah, I think there was a few like some character bits
Yeah,
that
it
were.
could be.
I don't think it was like faces were CGI,
Right.
like some hands and something like that.
Yeah,
it was
it could
really
be.
good CGI.
But yeah, it looked just like a play long movie,
Yeah.
like a choose your own adventure kind of thing. So I could really see, like, when they talk about Playlink, and it's been over 3 million downloads of Playlink.
Yeah.
That they talked about, which is pretty cool. It's a platform for your smartphone to be able to jump into a game. So you have the game on PlayStation, there's Playlink elements in it. There's not a ton that support it yet, but it's a really cool concept. And so it looks like you're playing a movie. So I can just imagine having your friends over. Everybody opens the Playlink app, and then the decision comes up, and everybody votes on what they want to do, and then it just takes like the highest voted option, and then they all get to experience that. So that's a cool way to watch a movie. Everyone's already got their phones out, not paying attention anyways.
Exactly. Now
So
they
might
have
as well
something
do
to pay
that.
attention to on their phones. From there, we had a like PSVR rundown
And
kind of thing.
basically, the rundown was a lot of the VR games we already saw
Yeah.
in the pre-show. This was just like highlight reels of them.
I'm looking for a good
So.
list of it. And I'm not
So I'm pretty sure it's.
finding one.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, I didn't try to like catch up with it.
Yeah,
but
it was all. There was nothing in the that wasn't in the pre-show that was covered in this little rundown. It was just kind of a celebration. They just passed a year with the VR.
Yeah.
Got over 100 titles right now, and now like a lot of the stuff we saw for VR looks like real games.
Yeah, it's starting to look real.
They're not just tech
Real
demos
good.
anymore, and yeah, they're probably not 40-hour like Odysseys, but they're
Yeah.
they're real things, and that's pretty exciting. So good on PlayStation for not dropping support for the VR right away like they did with other aspects of their business.
Like Move and Vita.
But at least they like remade the Move into VR. Is
Yeah.
basically all that was just a nice
I feel like that
fancy
was,
test for VR.
I feel like I know this isn't how the conversation went, but we're like, hey, we need
Right.
some controllers for VR, and somebody just like, here, use these. These are like really old. You'll make it work.
We'll add a new USB connector. It's fine.
Yeah, that'll be great. Next, we saw stuff from Far Cry 5.
Yeah, we
As
did.
if we needed any more reason to be excited for Far Cry 5.
I know you
so
are. I've
hyped.
never been a Far Cry guy, but like watching some of this stuff, and I know it's Ubisoft, it's open world, it's gonna have its kinks. It's what Ubisoft does, but it looked fun. They were showing off
Far
the
Cry
co-op,
games are so fun.
like everything co-op, as far as I could tell.
Mhm.
So being able to do that together, I think that would be really cool. I know it's had co-op elements before.
Yeah.
I don't know how
This
much
is probably-
different it is.
I think this is probably a
but
deeper co-op. than it
Yeah.
used to be. I think there used to be like co-op missions.
yeah,
Whereas now this is a co-op
Yeah.
enabled game.
yeah, which would be really cool because it's one of those kind of like crazy blow 'em up games. It makes me think a little bit of Just Cause 3.
A little bit. but
Probably
good.
not quite as big a scale, but probably has actual frame rate.
It's
So you
actually like good.
don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. That game comes out February 27th, 2018.
Yep.
So we got a release date for it. I'm really excited.
Mhm.
Gosh, I think one of the favorite reactions I saw to that is at one point they show the two characters kind of like, paint or tilting up on the map,
Mhm.
and like a bunch of side missions and objective markers popped up, and somebody screen capped that, and we're like, "Yep, Ubisoft confirming it's still a Ubisoft game."
Yeah, it's not going to deviate from the formula, but that's okay.
Yep.
It's a formula that works for something like this.
Yep. The next is probably one of the announcements we were probably most excited for, is we saw footage announcements for the first Destiny 2 DLC, Curse of Osiris. It was awesome. It's taking place on Mercury. We're looking for tracking down.
Yeah,
Osiris?
down brother Osiris. So Osiris is one of the most famous, well, maybe infamous would be a better word, member of the Vanguard.
Yep.
He was, he just got into the Vex stuff and he got way too far into it,
Too
and he
far.
kind of got cast out. And he's not the only one that's been cast out
You
before.
played Destiny 1, you may remember the Trials of Osiris.
Yeah, so he's I'm super excited. Osiris is one of my favorite characters, like in the lore
Yeah.
and stuff of Destiny. I think it'll be really cool. We'll finally get to go to the lighthouse in Mercury.
Yeah, we never went there.
They're gonna have the social space is gonna be the lighthouse. Who knows if it'll be exactly the same, or if it'll be different. I'm sure it'll be different.
I'm sure
They'll-
it'll be different.
They'll have
way.
some maybe some callbacks to it, as it was the space for people that went flawless in trials. Yeah, like I said, takes place on Mercury. There was one thing they said new raid content. They didn't specifically say new raid.
Yeah.
Some people might just be capitalizing on something that's not really there. Who knows what that means? Maybe they're just adding activities to the existing raid. It seems kind of weird considering it's
Yeah.
a Vex. So I'm sure we'll see something. Maybe it'll be like a complete redo of the Vault of Glass. That would be kind of
That'd be
cool.
awesome.
So we'll see. I'm not going to read into it. I'm just going to wait until they show off some streams of it and stuff, as Bungie always does. December 5th, it's officially called The Curse of Osiris, and I'm stoked for it.
Yeah.
Knew everything. They've got his stuff. A lot of the if you played D1 and looked at the Trials gear, it was all like very Egyptian style stuff, and
Yeah.
stuff he was wearing was almost like Aztec style. And his ghost was really cool.
His ghost was awesome.
I didn't throw it up here, and I should have, but it looks like it's gonna be really cool. People probably complain about like reskins or they're reusing assets or.
I'm trying to imagine what like Destiny the game subreddit would do if they like redid the Vault of Glass raid. There would be like 25% of people excited, which would be us, and the rest would be like, "Oh, it's just the Vault of Glass, blah! I can't believe what a worthless game, blah blah blah." Man, you want to talk about a salt pile on the internet? Go to Destiny the game on Reddit.
Maybe don't though. Like it might sour your opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Don't trust whatever they say because they're all liars and annoying. Monster Hunter World. This game didn't look super interesting to me.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe I think part of it might have been the stream, because the next thing we saw was Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it wasn't. Yeah,
it was.
It looked. Sorry, I was running a different thought path, and I responded to myself without actually saying anything out loud. It looked like a PS3 game to me.
Okay.
Like the environment was like too busy and not deep. So it was like flat, line-filled environments.
Yeah.
With some kind of weird, not necessarily low texture characters, but not high detail characters.
Yeah.
Which I don't expect out of every game. But it's just one of those things like in this generation of games that we're playing, when we have stuff like, Horizon and Uncharted, all these like super high polished games coming out, and this pops out. It's kind of like, huh?
I mean,
I don't know.
It looks interesting. Part of it I think could have been. I mean, we're streaming.
Yeah,
we're
part
on
of
Twitch,
it could have been. So it's hard to
like
judge the quality look of a game.
And so I mean, the trailer was really just, there was a lot of like, here's a big boss, here's us doing an attack, and it would just rotate to a different boss, different attack, different environment.
Yeah.
And it was very basic at its core. So the trailer didn't like grab me and get me really excited for it. I'm excited for the game because of stuff I've seen before, when we like the stuff at E3 where the guy was like stalking his prey and hunting it, that actual hunting process. That looked interesting to me. This trailer didn't do a lot for me.
Yeah, this trailer was very one-dimensional.
Yeah. But the cool thing, exclusive to PS4, is that you can play as Aloy. She's going to be one of the many characters
and you can
available.
have a little watcher.
Yeah, like a little
watcher
pet.
guy. It was adorable.
Looks awesome. So there's a bebeta, requires PlayStation Plus. That's not always the case with those, but this one you will.
This one does.
December 9th through the 12th. Why do those dates sound weird, you ask? Because December 9th is a Saturday. Who starts it on a Saturday? I don't know. Probably Far East companies
Capcom.
that don't understand how things work. Freaking Capcom. So December 9th to December 12th. Make sure to mark your calendars, but don't mark it on Friday because that's not going to do you any good because they're not starting until Saturday.
Probably download the beta on
It's a
Friday.
waste of a day. Yeah, knowing my luck, I won't. But full game
entirely.
does launch January 26th. So that beta is going to really shape a lot of opinions for me because it looks cool.
Yes.
I want to see what the graphics look like, and I want to see what how everything works. The concept behind it's really cool. Hunting a bunch of big, scary monsters with a literal megaton of guns and swords and options available to me.
Yep. So next
we'll
we
see.
saw Call of Duty World War II. This is Sledgehammer's first Call of Duty on their own, I think.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's Sledgehammer's first on their own. If not, let us know in the comments below or on Twitter. You know the drill.
You know the drill.
But it releases November 3rd. So if you didn't know, it's just more Call of Duty. So
Yeah. I mean,
at the end of the day, like it looks fun. It's World War II, so it's stepping back from, not stepping back sounds like it's stepping back quality. It's still great quality, but it still looks like it plays just like Call of Duty. We played the multiplayer beta.
Yeah.
Which again plays just like Call of Duty. It's everything you expect from Call of Duty, and that's a formula that's been working. Why break it?
For reference, their first game as lead developer was Advanced Warfare.
Okay.
So they co-developed Infinity Ward, Modern Warfare 3.
Okay.
So
I knew there was a co-development and they were starting. Okay.
This
so
is
this is their second game.
Yes, this is the first World War setting since 2008 for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that it's been that long since World at War. I mean, I was more excited for it, and then I played the beta, and I don't know really what I was expecting, but it was just kind of, it's not enough. Like, it's
meh.
just, Like I played it. We played like 5 or 6 hours of it. I felt like we had a good chunk to get our feeling behind it. And maybe I'm just spoiled by what Battlefield's like, but I like everything about Battlefield a little bit better.
We play a lot of first-person shooters. This
Yeah.
point. Like that's probably the majority of the gameplay we do is first-person shooters. We started on Call of Duty. We played Battlefield. We played Destiny. We've played others that I'm forgetting right now.
Pretty much everything in
Gears
between.
isn't first-person shooter, but
Yeah.
Killzone, like almost every first-person shooter that's been on AAA first-person shooter that's been on PlayStation. We played it.
Yeah.
And Call of Duty always feels the same, which to its credit is great.
Yeah.
For the Call of Duty fans. But for those of us who like to jump from game to game and we don't just buy Call of Duty in November and play it till next November, it's just kind of boring.
Yeah, it just there was nothing grab me. I mean, the campaign looks really cool. Like there's a really big focus on it, like always for them. That was mostly the trailer was the campaign and just the tapping into the emotions of the war and going behind enemy lines and dealing with the Big Red One, which hits home
cool
with me.
for us to see Big Red One.
I mean, I grew up right next to the Big Red One. That was what my dad was a part of, and so it's just interesting stuff. But it's a Redbox game for me. Maybe I'll try the multiplayer out a little bit, but I'll probably get wrecked and not have fun. And so, and I don't know. It's sad, but it is what it is. They didn't change the formula enough for me to really, because I thought the boots on the ground thing would be a little bit more exciting, but it's just
it looks just like more Call of Duty.
Yeah, it does.
That's kind of the thing. And I know it's weird for us to criticize that it feels the same as guys who have spent well over 1,000 hours collectively in Destiny, which Destiny 2 feels the same as Destiny 1. But, Destiny hasn't been around since whatever, 1931.
Not to poop on the game. The game was well done in its beta format. This will be a really good game. The first DLC called The Resistance looks like it's coming out January 30th.
Yep.
Exclusive on PS4 for 30 days, just like the last Call of Duty game was. So that's not a huge surprise. If that's your thing, then get excited because it's next week.
Call of Duty time, y'all.
Yup.
Get hyped. And speaking of get hyped, Onrush. Oh, man. I listened to another podcast that was covering Paris Games Week, and they're like, yeah, this game looked kind of interesting. I'm like, it didn't, though. It looked like a really bad, like, Hot Wheels racer.
I immediately thought, like, Hot Wheels or Matchbox cars. I actually was intrigued by the trailer. I liked the arcadey feel to it, where it seemed like anything you do, you could finally land on your wheels at some point.
Yep.
It looked fun. It looked really thrilling. Like, it was definitely like Epilepsy, the trailer.
That's what I wrote down. I wrote down Epilepsy, the trailers, like flashing lights and cars flying by.
But then they pop up the name was Onrush. I was like, are you serious? Onrush. One word, not like 2 words. I don't know who came up with that. That's awful. It was developed by Codemasters, who you may remember did MotorStorm series. Yeah. So they have some experience with crappy racing. I'm kidding. MotorStorm was really great. It'd be nice to just see a MotorStorm game, not Onrush, the stupid named game.
Yeah.
Summer 2018.
Yep. It's coming. So I know you've been excited for it. Speaking of it's coming and some people are excited for it, Battlefront 2 looks gorgeous as expected. We have a Battlefront 2 story coming later in the show.
Yes, we're not going to touch on it too much.
So we won't really talk about that a lot right now, but what we will talk about is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that game looks so good.
It's good. This was more of a story trailer. We saw a little bit of gameplay, but not much. Mostly cinematics. Saw a little bit more Miles Morales. People are really divided on him. Not being a comic book guy, not being in on it. Every thread I've seen has either had people that are really excited about having Miles in it. Some people really hate the idea of it. There's a scene in the scene. There's a scene in the scene.
There's a scene in the
scene.
scene.
In the scene. You go to the scene, you get a scene, and you got another scene.
Stanley Kubrick.
But there's a scene in the trailer where he's like putting the mask on, but it's dark, and you can't tell who's putting on the mask. Some people are like, oh, is it Peter Parker or is it Miles Morales? And people were kind of upset because it's like, well, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. I mean, Miles Morales is just whatever, catering to whatever. So it's interesting. It looks like Mary Jane may be a playable character.
Yeah.
There was a kind of over the shoulder shot of her kind of sneaking around. But it's interesting. The story takes place with Peter Parker as 23. So he's out of high school. He's been doing Spider-Man for 8 years now because he starts when he's 15. He's just taken down Kingpin, Wilson Fisk.
Yep.
So that's where the trailer starts, and you eventually learn Mr. Negative's a part of all this, and you see Shock something. I can't remember the guy's
Shocker?
name. Yeah, Shocker. That's
Yep.
it. You see him as one of the villains. So it'll be interesting to see. I think with every Spider-Man game, especially open world, you're like, I just want to see all the villains, all of them, every
Nope.
single one.
It's a bad idea.
It is a bad idea, but I really want to see
But
all
seeing
of them.
several villains is okay.
Yeah,
Seeing all the villains, it's not.
yeah. It was interesting. Osborn's running for mayor.
Yep.
So is this like pre-Green Goblin? Is this on the way to Green Goblin?
Yeah.
Like, where is he at on this? Where's his kid? Where does all this kind of fit into it? This is exciting. I like the
Yeah.
story. I love Spider-Man.
Yeah, we saw like a little glimpse of the combat, and it looks so fast and
Yep.
so fun. And I'm so excited for this game. I will be buying this unless they announce some kind of loot box fiasco. And the next time it's coming 2018.
Yep.
So we'll have like a real window other than
Yeah.
these 365 days it will be coming.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, if it was gonna be quarter 1, we'd at least hear that, as we
Yeah.
heard it with a few other games. So this will probably be at least summer, but I'm gonna lean more towards fall.
Probably fall. This
So-
could be a fall game that like comes in and is one of those windows that everybody's like, all right, get out of the Spider-Man window this week. Like nobody's gonna launch games within a week or two of this.
So we'll see.
At least nobody should if they know it's good for them. Detroit Become Human. We
Yeah.
saw a third iteration of the trailer for this.
Yep.
So the first one we saw was the detective on the rooftop.
Mhm.
The second one we saw at E3 was like the revolts of sorts.
Yeah. The rallies and stuff on the streets,
Yeah.
pushing back against stuff.
Yep. And this one we saw was a robot or android, whatever they're called,
Mhm.
that serves as a like
Like a maid.
home help.
Mhm.
So it starts off of a dad who's clearly a dick. He's abusive, whatever. He's like, you haven't been here for 2 weeks. Start cleaning the dishes, whatever. And kind of goes through the trailer, and you kind of find out that he had the robot disassembled and like memory wiped because it was getting too close to the daughter
Yeah, and
in a certain way. Kind
yeah.
of becoming
And so it shows you some different like storylines and how it plays out. And it gets kind of, I mean, I don't want to say we're desensitized to it, but if you look back on it, like there's like some real domestic abuse options, and you see like, well, there's one storyline where he kills his daughter. Like,
there's a storyline where you
that's
do
awful.
nothing. Like he looks at the robot and goes, "Stay there," and like abuses, like hits his daughter, and then she dies.
Yeah.
And like he did the same thing to her mom.
Yeah.
It implies, and he then turns to the robot and goes, "This is your fault," and starts like running at her. And then it like rewinds and shows you different scenarios you could do where you run with the daughter or protect the daughter or hide the daughter
stand and
or
fight.
yeah,
and
it's crazy.
there's a lot of stuff.
I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's gonna
Yeah.
be so much fun. I played Heavy Rain. I enjoyed Heavy Rain so much. Like these quick, just like some of the decisions were like make it fast, and you don't have time to read both of them. You just go with your instinct of like, oh, this, bump, and then you realize, oh, I probably could have done the other thing. I wonder what happens. And it's
spring 2018. It's coming from Quantic Dream. Heavy
Yep.
Rain is who that was. Beyond Two Souls, I think they did as well.
They did another one.
And then they had another one that
They had
no
an
one
Xbox
cared.
one, didn't they?
I think so.
Quantic Dream. That's cool.
But yeah, so spring 2018, which would translate to Q2 probably. We're probably not going to see this one until April or May. If we see it then,
Yeah.
chances are it'll be delayed. I'm intrigued. I didn't play Heavy Rain. I was not attracted to the story at all. It was just not my thing. But like the 3 trailers we've seen, maybe we've seen more, but those are the 3 that I remember, have drawn me in, and like I want to do this. And I don't like decision-based games. I don't like this story-based, almost walking simulator type things.
Yeah.
And the trailers have done their job and have me sufficiently excited. So I will definitely
If it's
be checking
anything
that out.
like Heavy Rain, it is like a lot of the walking part.
Right.
But the story just is so deep, and you kind of get so involved
Yeah.
with it, you just forget about that fact. Because I remember starting in Heavy Rain, I was like, yeah, this is boring, and I didn't keep going. And then once, like at a certain point, I ran out of games to play, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And then
Yeah.
my wife and I were just glued to the TV for the rest of the whole time. Like for the rest of the time over the following weeks that I played the game, we're like, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Well, that's always good to
Um,
have.
Next up, another game we're really excited about, God of War. This game looks so cool.
Oh, it looks
Sony
good.
Santa Monica, or Santa Monica Studios. I don't know if they're technically Sony Santa Monica anymore. But Santa Monica Studios, early 2018. We saw some of the combat. We saw a little bit more interaction with the kid, which I know some people are worried about.
Yeah, he talked a bit in the combat.
Yeah.
Calling out an enemy and saying, I'm going to
Yeah.
shoot him with an arrow and
Kills
stuff
him
like
and he goes,
that.
"See you later." Like,
Yeah, so it's
kind of one of those things people are worried about. I'm gonna have to like protect this kid. I'm gonna deal with him.
yeah. Well, cause from what they said before, like he's gonna be pretty self sufficient.
Yeah.
Some of the concern was like, is he gonna talk like every time in the combat? Am I gonna turn that off? Is it just turned up for this trailer to show that it's possible? Like,
Yeah.
what's the if he's talking during every combat scene? Like,
At some point,
Might have
Kratos
to
is
let
gonna
my
be like,
kid-
shut up.
might have to let my kid die. That's just how it's gonna be in that
Sorry
game.
about it.
But the combat just looks so visceral. Like it's the only way I can describe it. Just so heavy, and it makes me kind of think of Dark Souls type combat, and just how
Hope so.
heavy everything feels. It looks amazing.
It's like heavy but quick.
I heard someone
weird.
complaining that it wasn't violent enough. Like there wasn't enough blood.
Get
Like,
over
it's not.
yourself.
There's not blood. There's just it's just like orange goop. I'm like, bro,
It's video game blood, dude.
come on now. It'll just one very small fight. So it looks interesting.
Don't die on that hill.
It was weird. He right at the beginning of the trailer, like he called out a soul eater. He was like, "Hey, if that soul eater gets us," he's like, "No heaven, no Valhalla, nothing. Our souls are gone." And then the guy just like walks away, and Kratos is almost like teaching him not to always just fight.
Don't just jump and get
It
it.
is totally different than anything Kratos has ever done.
Yeah.
So it's interesting seeing the development of a character that was just basically a violent rage machine in the
Yeah.
last 4 games.
Calliope. And we heard some like singing at the end.
Yeah,
My thought was like, is that like a siren from one of the old God of War games?
I mean, it's
Remember
very
those?
possible.
I don't know if it will be. I don't
Yeah.
know Norse mythology super well. I
Yeah.
don't think they had
So
sirens.
I don't know. It's interesting. The trailers always leave us guessing just a little bit. Early
No,
2018
which
is
is great.
exciting. I mean, we're talking like it could be January or February.
Yeah.
I'm going to lean closer probably March, but because we don't know outside of that. If it was going to be January, I guarantee we'd already have a release date because it's November. So
Exactly. Next, we saw some stuff for Horizon Zero Dawn: The Frozen Wilds DLC.
yeah,
Um,
it's
that looks super exciting. Comes
Yeah.
out November 7th.
hey, we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
A little bit later.
So
After that, we saw some more footage of Shadow of the Colossus remaster.
yeah, I was
Looks cool.
It looked way better than the last footage we saw at E3. E3 looked like a remaster. This one looked like a remake.
Yeah.
And a reimagining, I would say. So it looked incredible. It took me until halfway through the trailer to realize that's what it was for, because it did not look like Shadow of the Colossus
Yeah.
like it has in the past.
I didn't know it before until I heard him say aggro, and I was like, "Oh, that's the horse from Shadow of the Colossus." Like,
There you go. I think I had the volume down. I didn't quite hear it, but it looked really good. And I mean, I've always been interested in this game since we heard about the remake coming.
yeah,
So it's it should be good. Nice game. You
Yep.
know, I did we get a release date? Do we have one? I feel like
I feel like we do. Maybe we don't.
I don't know. Let me check. Did you ever play Shadow of the Colossus? when
I
you were
played
a little kid?
in college for a little bit. I got Shadow of the Colossus on PS2 and played it in our dorm room.
Mhm.
I played through probably 4 of the monsters before I kind of put it down.
Nice. February 6th is
Oh,
the
there you
release
go.
date. So we got it coming up pretty quick. It's exciting stuff, man.
Kind of fun.
I'm stoked.
And rounding out the media showcase, ever so violently,
Quite possibly one of the best trailers I've seen for a game in the last
there's
9 months at least.
there's been some talk on the internet about this trailer. Is The Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
So this is Naughty Dog. If you don't know what The Last of Us is, hello, welcome to 2017. You've been gone for a while.
More like 2014. Jeez.
Yeah. But every time I hear about The Last of Us 2, it makes me wish I had finished The Last of Us.
I still want
But
to.
I tried it and I just didn't do it, and maybe I will at
I
some
think
point.
what we need to do is both of us need to be in the room, and one of us plays, the other one experiences. It's daytime out, no distractions, and we just push through it together as little girls, because I think that's the only way we're going to be able to do
We
it.
are wimps when it comes to horror games.
Yes, we
Don't
are.
believe me? Go watch our Outlast.
And I
Let's
know what people are going
Plays.
to be like, oh, but Last of Us isn't a horror game. It is for us.
It
It's
is.
terrifying to us.
I got to the part in Last of Us. You're like if I remember correctly, you're in a school gym, and there's this giant zombie thing following you. You have a shotgun, and if it runs at you, it's too late. Like if it turns and sees you, you have already died. Because if it starts to take off, you do not move fast enough to get out of the way. And maybe there's a button I missed. I'm a much more proficient gamer now than I was when I was playing The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I've played thousands of hours in games between now and then, so maybe it'll be better and easier. But who knows? Maybe I would like to try it and do that, because just everyone talks about how good The Last of Us was. And I'm like, I don't know. I never finished it. So that's on us. But man, it was cool because you didn't see Joel or Ellie.
Right.
And there's a theory running around that the lady that's being tied up. So you start with like a lady fall on the ground, they tie her up and hang her. They start to hang her, and they were like holding a knife at her belly, saying that there was something inside her. So that might be Ellie's mom.
It's possible. There's a ton of theories out there because there's a ton of theories. But if you looked up, they had other bodies hanging that were dead that also had the same cut in their abdomen, and some of them were dudes. So probably not it. Plus, someone meticulously like hacked out the timeline from when the mother had to be pregnant to when, like in The Last of Us, there was no like religious cults at all, and these guys were clearly like cultish.
Yep.
Like, and there was nothing of the sort then. So you would have to think going from no infection, like dead thing, to religious cult based on this 5 years later to being gone 14 years later, like probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not a thing. So this is probably current day. But they talked about it in the developer diaries afterwards, and they talked about it even in the YouTube description, that the story is very much about Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
But there are other characters, and they wanted this trailer to be about introducing other characters that you're going to be meeting. One of the things that they talked about with the theme of the game is that Last of Us 2 is all about hate, whereas the first game was all about love. So you could definitely feel the difference in the trailer.
Yeah,
how
it was
terrifying,
very violent,
awful.
Like this girl comes up, and she's one of the, I'm assuming, the Fireflies, because they say clip her wings.
Right.
So these two guys knock her down, and they grab a hammer, and they commence to just beating on her upper arms. And like, it's not like you got a shot of the hammer in the air and coming down. It's like, nope, you got the shot of them like beating the living daylights out of her arms. You hear the crack of the bones and the blood coming out, and they go to handing the other one, and then arrows start flying, and she gets saved. And it's like, gosh, it was just like, it was so intense.
It was really good. And
so
because
intense,
you didn't know any
really
of the
good.
characters, you had no idea what game it was. At first, you think maybe it's Days Gone, especially with the hanging bodies and the rugged themes. And so it was really good. It was a really well done trailer. So overall, what did you think of Paris Games Week for
I thought it was
Sony?
good. We got a lot of good announcements. So seeing Horizon Zero Dawn at this point gets me hyped to play Horizon again. We were talking about this. Like, I want to play Horizon all the way through again just to be in that world.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and I enjoyed it so much. But I'm scared if I do that, I will play it too much.
Right.
And be like, all right, I'm done with Horizon. I'm tired of it.
I got you.
But I do want to play the Frozen Wilds. God of War, I'm always excited for. I love God of War. I loved all the games. I don't care how bad you think they were.
Yeah.
They were awesome, and I love them. Spider-Man looks fantastic. Detroit looks so good. So, like, a lot of exciting things coming out. Destiny 2, which we already have the DLC bought. We bought the expansion packs already.
Ah, but we're suckers, Jake. This took the game off the disc and sold it to us later as DLC.
Whatever. Ghost of Tsushima looks like it could be fun. I like Sucker Punch. I loved Insomnia. Infamous.
There you go.
Sorry. I saw Insomniac on the same list, and I was like,
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Paris Games Week was really good. They
really big
might have
Paris Games
slightly
Week.
oversold it, but it was way better than we've seen in years past. I think part of the reason we're seeing it now as opposed to PlayStation Experience is because the Xbox One X release is just around the corner, November 7th.
That's true.
So now we've got all this hype, and almost none of it is coming to the Xbox. So do you really want to go get the Xbox One X when you got all this stuff coming to the PlayStation?
Yep.
So it is smart to do it now. PlayStation Experience may have been gutted a bit because of it. We didn't hear anything from Software. We know they're working on at least 3 different titles.
Dark Souls 4.
Probably not. But they're definitely working on something, so we'll hear about that. I'm sure we're going to hear Days Gone at PlayStation Experience. There's no way they're going to let it go another one if it's going to be coming out in 2018 like they say.
Yeah, I hope we do. I'm looking forward to that game.
We'll see more. I think somebody was talking maybe see a playable God of War at PlayStation Experience, seeming as early 2018. I could see that being possible.
I'd be okay with not seeing anything else for God of War until it comes out.
I'd be okay with that.
I think we've seen enough.
That's fair.
But I know that's not how the market works.
Exactly. So yeah, that was PlayStation thing at Paris Games Week. You're probably wondering, why wasn't Microsoft at Paris Games Week? Because no one in France buys a Microsoft console.
Apparently not.
It's not a big deal. Like, it's not a thing that you don't normally have conferences
just saw that
like this in Paris Games Week.
PlayStation hit 67.2 million consoles shipped.
Yep,
today.
they did. Big number. Meanwhile, Xbox is sitting around like 30.
Pretty sure
I think
shipped and sold are two different things.
they are.
So
they are.
I don't
but
think they've sold that many,
it's
but
still
shipping that
67
many
million
is quite a bit.
shipped. It should be pretty easy for this generation to hit 100 million consoles.
Yeah.
Which is wildly impressive.
Yeah, so like things, like
kudos.
notable things we didn't see at Paris Games Week are Days Gone.
Mhm.
Thank the Lord we didn't see anything for Death Stranding.
Gosh.
Giving that game actually time to like breathe and develop before we look at it more.
Yeah.
There's still like a little part of me that's hoping like maybe we see Bloodborne 2 at at PSX. Like it, man, I feel like
I
it's
don't know.
time for another one of those games.
Yeah, there's
Dark
got to
Souls
be
3
something.
came out a while ago.
You know, I mean, they talked a year ago, and developer said they didn't really have anything in the pipeline, but he could just be throwing us off
Could
the
be
trail.
PR speak.
Another big one we didn't see anything was Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
I did stumble across an article somebody had posted in a thread from back in May where Square Enix has actually taken back development from the third parties they were working with.
Oh.
They just didn't like the direction, didn't like the quality they were going for, so they brought it back in-house and are redoing a lot of it. So probably going to be delayed, but we don't have any semblance of a date anyways. So it's probably better that they're handling in-house, but that could explain why we didn't see Final Fantasy VII at all.
Sure. Well, it's Final Fantasy. If they delay it for 10 years, they'll be right on track.
Maybe E3 will see something. But at this point, the game has already been done. You're just doing it again.
Yeah.
What else is there to do?
Break it into episodes.
Not a developer, so we'll see. Who knows how much has been thrown out
All
when
right.
switching the devs. So that was
That was Paris Games Week. That was a chunk of news,
that
guys.
was a lot of it. We'll breeze through this.
We'll
next
breeze through
stuff.
these
We're
next
good.
pieces. Next topic coming to us from Eurogamer. Super Mario Odyssey sells 2 million copies in 3 days.
I got to reuse the thumbnail again.
Hey, how about that?
Look at that, saving hard drive space.
This is a fun thing. You can't really see it in the thing, but you can see it. The traffic lights in New Dog City
Yeah.
are the question blocks.
Oh, really?
The walk
Oh,
signals.
yeah, I see
They're
that.
question blocks.
That's awesome. There's one over here.
You just
Ding.
ding.
That's pretty cool.
I happened upon that by accident. I jumped at the right time
yeah,
and bumped it. And I was like, what? And then I
That's
saw the
awesome.
question mark on it. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
that's cool. Yeah, I
Um,
haven't got that far yet.
The feature does that that 2 million number includes bundles and digital sales. So there was a Super Mario Switch bundle that
Right.
had the red Joy-Cons that I really want because they look really cool.
They do.
I probably won't buy them, but I want them. In the UK, the platformer was Switch's biggest launch to date, beating Zelda. And more impressive, it was the 6th biggest Nintendo launch of all time
Mhm.
in the UK.
That's good.
So-
It's big. It's
It's
none
huge.
of it's unexpected. I mean, their Metacritic right now is sitting at 97. However much stake you put in that, universally praised. A lot of perfect scores across the board. It's a game that deserves it. It deserves the sales that it's getting. The polish on this is not lost on me. It just works. It works perfectly. It works great. It's just looks gorgeous, and
Things
it
Nintendo
came out
does
at the
well.
right time. We're talking about Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey on opposite ends of the year. I mean, when's the
Really
last?
on opposite ends of the summer.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time that you've seen a first party publisher like this put out like two of the most successful games in the history of gaming in the same year?
Yeah.
It's wildly impressive.
Breath of the Wild leagues.
But yeah, that's pretty cool. 2 million in 3 days. It's just gonna keep climbing. Like this is a system seller. Like this is when I was going to get a Switch, and I'm glad I didn't wait.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
great.
really cool. I'm so excited for you to get to this city because there's a really cool Easter egg here.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you to get to. It's
It's-
part of the main story, so you
I
can't
think
miss it.
my
It's so
problem
good.
with Super Mario Odyssey, and it's such a thing, but you get into these, and these worlds are so massive. Like you have your first couple of intro worlds are pretty small, and you feel pretty good about it. Then you get to the sand world, and you go from 25 Power Moon options to 70 Power Moon options. You're like, what? What is happening? You look at the map, and you can't see yourself because your icon's so small because the map's so big.
Yep.
And I'm a completionist, so I like finding everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is going to take me.
You best abandon that quick if you want to
Yeah.
get through this game.
Yeah,
at
it's like
all.
I want to get through the story and then kind of go back and do stuff. But
Yep.
very exciting stuff.
Yep. Next from Polygon, Rocket League has a launch date for Nintendo Switch. It is November 14th.
Yeah.
So excited for this. Things are coming out on Switch.
Yeah.
Great things are coming out on Switch.
Oh yeah.
And I'm so excited that we bought this console. I'm so excited this console exists. Announced for the console exclusive back in E3 this year.
Yep.
There's customized options for battle cars exclusive to the Switch. These two being one of them, or being two of them. The third one being Samus. right?
Yes. Yes.
You get them by completing in-game challenges. Once the game launches, Rocket League will be cross-platform
that
compatible too, with the exception
PlayStation
of
4.
PlayStation 4.
And it's just like we knew.
So still hanging on to that. Is PlayStation Rocket League is still cross-platform with PC, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the weirdest part of the cross-platform thing is like, oh, we'll
most
still be
annoying part.
PC, but PC is
Yeah.
compatible with Xbox and Switch, and Switch is compatible with and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
But when you're on top by, double digits of millions of consoles,
yeah.
you get to be that way. If Xbox was doing this, yeah, it'd be annoying, but we'd be sitting here on this side going like, well, Xbox has sold almost 70 million consoles.
Yep.
They get to be in charge. They
Been
did it
there,
when they
done
were on
that.
360.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited. It's gonna be good. Like I said, November 14th. I will
games
be
in November that
picking
now
it
want
up.
to take my money.
I know it's terrible. It's like, well, I could probably just not get Christmas presents for anybody.
Yeah, it's like I could probably just not eat for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll
and-
just clean my house and cook a couple nights in a
Yeah.
row and take care of the baby for a week while
we
my wife goes
have-
to Nashville or something.
I'm looking for. No, we don't have this as a story, but GameStop friggin' Game Pass.
Oh yeah,
Everywhere.
PowerPass or whatever.
PowerPass, yeah. So that's coming everywhere. We didn't put this as an official story, and so we don't have a link for it or anything. Sorry, Google it. We might get a link in time.
Mhm.
But they're bringing Game Pass to all locations. So problem is
PowerPass is the official name. For it.
problem is with a lot of these games, like I want to have them and I want to keep them.
Yeah.
So like I want to keep Rocket League and I want to to keep Wolfenstein. I
Yeah.
want to keep Shadow of War. But it's a cool thing. Look it up if you don't know what it is. Maybe we can hit it on next week's podcast. We talked about it a while ago.
Yeah,
when it
just
was
as
first
kind of an
announced.
afterthought. So it's not going to go effective till November 9th. We'll go into more detail about that. If you guys want to look it up, GameStop PowerPass, very exciting stuff in terms of actually doing something useful for the gaming community.
Yep.
All right.
Next from dailystar.co.uk, Horizon Zero Dawn Frozen Wilds adds 15 hours of gameplay, new photo mode skills, and more.
And more. That's right off the top.
Oh, I'm
I mean,
so
that's what
excited for this.
That's what we're
James.
talking about. I mean, it's 15 hours of gameplay at least. We got main quests, we got a ton of side quests. Contents, it's not like a separate DLC. It's kind of an expansion.
Yeah.
So you can, like, if you haven't beat the main game, you can still do it. Like, you can go, you unlock it pretty early in the game. You can go and do it and then come back and use those skills elsewhere. It's meant to go alongside.
That was impressive, dude.
Meant to go
Thanks, Rick.
alongside with it, but yeah, this looks incredible. New abilities, specifically to your mount. Talk about being able to forage without leaving your mount.
Oh, that'd be so
being
nice.
able to dismount and do like an area of effect attack. A lot of cool options. A lot of cool things coming down. Opposed photo mode. So they've had some of this stuff before, which you could do like little poses, but the one that they used, she was doing a snow angel. So that sounds really fun. And they said that mocap and animation has been improved only for this expansion content. Some people had some issues with the facial animations and things like that, not quite being up to par.
They were still really good for how big
They were good. There were
Horizon
some
was.
things that weren't great about it.
Yeah.
But it was such a minor thing. But
Horizon
they've
wasn't perfect, but the game.
so I'm
was.
interested to see like how much better that is and what aspects look
Yeah.
better or worse as a result. Doesn't affect the base game though, so only for the new content. And you will need the base game installed to play this. It
This is not standalone.
launches November 3rd. November 3rd, right?
Sure.
That sounds right. I could be wrong.
I feel like we looked it up and I.
It launches very
100%
soon.
forgot.
But yeah, so if you deleted the base game November 7th.
That's right.
If you deleted
November
the
3rd is Call of Duty.
Yeah, if you deleted the base game, you're going to need to reinstall. This is not end game content. It is like mid to high level content. So
Yeah.
it's don't
Um,
expect like a raid kind of difficulty here. We're
No.
just like I said,
This
expansion.
is just more fun inside of Horizon, which I'm so excited for. I hardly contain myself.
well worth it. The PlayStation Plus price right now is $15 for 15 plus hours.
If you don't have
beautiful
PlayStation
game.
Plus, you should get it.
Yeah,
Totally pays for itself.
indeed.
Next, straight from the horse's mouth, we get from EA.com new changes to Battlefront 2.
Mhm.
So new changes for loot crates specifically. If you have not been a part of this loot crate discussion that's been going on the internet for the last several weeks with the advent of NBA 2K, Shadow of War,
Mhm.
Battlefront 2, you name it, it's got loot crates in it.
Right.
They've heard our pleas
Mhm.
and they've made some changes. So they removed most of the weapons from loot crates. My apologies. Removes epic star cards, highest tier at launch from loot crates. Can only access epic star cards through crafting. You must be certain rank to craft the upgraded cards, meaning you can only get better cards by playing. Class-specific gear and items can be unlocked by playing as them, and they answered most concerns about most of your concerns. I didn't write the story down.
It's good. No,
I was reading the list.
Yeah,
you make lists different than I do.
Yeah. So when we talk about what things look like, one of the concerns was being able to get the best of the best just by putting your money into it.
Yep.
And so it's unlocking at later levels based on how much you've played, like actually making your rank important. And when we talk about crafting epic star cards, they're like, well, what if you just go in and buy a bunch of loot boxes, destroy everything, and then use that to buy it? Well, you can't, because you got to be like level this to upgrade to an epic star card. So it's adding that kind of requirement. Class specific gear and items can be unlocked just by playing as that character, which makes so much more sense. And so they said that there's still going to be some weapons behind the loot box, which I'm not a fan of, but who knows? This could be the base weapon for each character. Like, we don't really know what it looks like. I'm still like, I canceled my pre-order to get Super Mario. Like, I'm not changing my mind. But it is interesting. They, well, I mean, I'm not going to buy it at launch. So I feel better, and I'm glad that they listened, but they could have just done it the right way in the first place. All it was just trying to push the envelope and see how much they could get away with, realize they couldn't get away with it, and all of a sudden they have a better system ready to go before launch. It's so weird that they were just ready with that, but good on them for at least coming out and doing that. Doesn't change the way I'm going to support the game, but it does make me feel a little bit better as a consumer.
Yes, it does indeed. Normally at this point, we would go over what's new coming out, but there's not a lot of games.
I just wanted to show this off because I did not do this, and therefore it looks better this week.
I was really confused about how you got that, and then I realized we shared it over. Yeah, I was like, oh crap, I never sent him the new graphic.
I have my ways.
But pretty much the only thing of note, as far as we're concerned, coming out this week is Call of Duty World War II. Comes out Friday, November 3rd for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. If you didn't know that, now you do.
Yep.
If you did and you already pre-ordered it, let us know how it is.
Yeah, I want to know.
I am interested, so let us know.
And then the other thing, it's not in this specific one, but November 7th, it'll come out the day we're filming the next podcast, is when Frozen Wilds comes out for Horizon. So
we probably won't have a review for you on that day.
Nope.
Maybe we'll put up an actual review.
Exactly. You never know.
We don't even know.
It rocks. Buy it. That's what our review will be. I can already tell you that.
It's so cool.
It's so cold.
Wait. So fluffy, I'm going to die. Oh, my goodness. If you're new or haven't gotten to this point of the show ever before, each week we round out our show going over the drop. If you don't know what the drop is the list of PlayStation games over on the PlayStation blog coming out each week for PlayStation. And basically, we go over it, read the funny descriptions that are not translated or poorly written. And so it's a good time. It's written by Ryan Clements at Palm Cider on Twitter. I always promote it for no real reason at this point. I just do it now because I started doing it once and I can't not do it anymore. PWAMCIDER.
There you go. First one right off the bat. This goes back to the old PS2 days, if you guys remember. The Dot Hack series. They've got
that is a mess of a title.
Oh, it is. I mean, you should have seen them before. Dot Hack / G.U. Last Recode. You're logging back into the trilogy. It's one of the games from it. I never played. I knew a friend that played them and he loved them. Enhanced graphics, improved gameplay, and brand new modes. Go for it. It's very much a Japanese style type game.
There's 8-bit Anthology, which 8-bit point and click adventures. So who cares about that?
There's 3 of them. That's gross.
Yeah,
awful. Oh man,
Dude,
Ben 10. Do you remember that show?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Bubsy, the Woolly Strike Back. Our favorite Bobcat is making a triumphant return 20 years after virtually disappearing from the world stage. Yes, that's right. Bubsy is back and starring in an all-new adventure. Bubsy, the Woolly Strike Back. What kind of game is that, James?
It's awful.
Who knows?
It's really generic. World War II, talked about that one. Pax Nora. Ooh. That is a mess of a screen cap there.
It's way less exciting than I thought it was going to be.
Command armies of fantastic creatures, cast spells of devastating power, summon relics of ancient renown, defeat opponents in Pax Nora. It kind of looks almost like a cover for like a Diablo style game, but I'm guessing it's not.
Oh, I was one game down. I was like,
no,
that doesn't
you're
look
good.
anything like Diablo, James. I skipped a few because, man, this one is. I got really excited because I thought maybe this sounds weird.
Probably.
So this is gonna be weird in my court case later on. But I thought it said murder, so I kind of got excited. But it's Spin Tires Mud Runner.
Oh, you were a couple down.
Well, what's funny is like
I was like, that's
so
Rabbi Reed.
the label on the blog says Spin Tires Mud Runner.
Yeah,
The game art says Mud Runner, a Spin Tires game.
that's weird.
It's weird. Spin Tires Mud Runner is the ultimate version of the million sellers hit Spin Tires for the first time on consoles. The game puts you in the driver's seat of incredible all-terrain vehicles venturing across extreme landscapes with only a map and a compass as guides.
Is that something that people want?
Apparently,
He's driving like a really slow vehicle.
at least 1 million people did.
Because it looks like a log carrying vehicle that you're using. So you're just transporting logs across bumpy ground.
Yeah, but
Is
you're
that what
driving
this is?
across wet mud at dusk.
Oh, oh boy.
Steven Universe, Stay the Light.
Wow, that looks adorable. Join the crystal gems on the ultimate quest. Mysterious new gem has stolen a powerful weapon. Oh, a gem is like a kind of person. Only Steven and his friends have
Oh.
what it takes to stop her. That does look adorable. I'm going to have to
does.
look at that.
Stranger Things soundtrack is out.
Oh, Hollywood Undead.
Weezer, Pacific Daydream. Hollywood Undead is still a thing?
Yeah, apparently. It's not very
Everywhere I go.
Cars 3 drops on PlayStation Video, and there's more things on PlayStation View that I don't care about.
Yep. This is a slow week in the drop.
That's all right.
It also is why it was a slow week on the old video game
Yeah,
release
exactly.
websites as well. But mainly all the news this week was Paris Games Week, which is why we spent a lot of time talking about it. Let us know what you thought about Paris Games Week, if you've watched it yet, if there's something we missed in Paris Games Week that you think we should have talked about. Put it in the comments below, tweet at us, let us know on whatever platform you're on. Thanks, guys, for subscribing, liking, commenting. We appreciate it very much. Keep it up, tell your friends, and until next time, thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.